It's not a fun topic today. I'm going to be talking about grief and journaling through grief and what I did as I was going through some grief of my own. And I've waited all month to think whether I should really mention this. But as I'm sitting here talking to you, telling you, hey, you should journal more, it's really good, and it is, and it's life-changing, which it is. There are places and times when I found, well, journaling is not always the only answer. There's multiple layers to things. Life is complex, life is hard, and anyway, I wanted to talk through a grief, some personal grief that I went through, and the role that journaling played in that. As I mentioned, it's a little hard to talk about this, obviously, but I'll do it anyway because it's important. Because as you are here going through your life, and I think many people who are giving advice online like me, teaching you how to go through stuff, may not always be showing when things get really tough. That's always hidden and off camera, and the easier stuff gets put on camera because that's, frankly, I don't want you to run away because I made you sad. I'm not going to make you sad. I'm not going to talk about the grief, but it's okay to be sad. And if you're going through some grief, I'm very sorry. I hope you find some help. I hope you feel better soon. With that, I'll just dive into it. A month ago, our 18-year-old cat died. And we're pet people, my wife and I, and we have other cats and a dog. So we have a family still. But he was 18, and 18 is a long time to know another being. That's think about it. That's longer than most friends that I know. That we've known him for a while. I met him about 11 years ago when I met my wife, and he's been a part of our life since then, a very big part of our life. His name is Brewster. His name was Brewster. He was full of life. He loved being outside. He loved coming inside. He was more like a dog than a cat. And for the last 6 years, we'd been giving him insulin because of his diabetes, and that was my job. So he and I had a very special connection where in the morning I would go out, because he loved being outside at night. In the morning I'd go out and look for him, or he would be out there if I was running late, looking at me through the door. Hey, you can do your job. And I'd call for him, or he'd be there waiting for me, and he'd come inside, or I'd feed him, give him his jab, and do that again in the evening, and so on. And we had a connection. I called and he answered. So we had a very special bond that way that maybe most people don't think of when they think of cats. And he died. It was his decline was quick, and it was tragic. It was sudden, and we were very, very sad. So with that story aside, I journaled that day, the day after, the day before, days before, and as I read through them, I get an idea of the state of my mind and how things were going, because there were difficult times, and that's when I'm drawn to the journal. And after he passed, I found myself really resisting going to the journal, because going to the journal meant that I would have to sort of regurgitate what I'd just been through. And that just felt like the last thing I wanted to do. I wanted to get as far away from this feeling as I could, but at the same time, the grief was real, the pain was real, and I didn't want to just, put it away in a box and lock it up and never come back to it again. I wanted to be able to process it. And the only way I know how to process this effectively is to journal. That's not the only way, but that's the main way, obviously. And obviously my wife is going through the grieving process as well, so we were both grieving here. And obviously trying to support each other, but at the same time, we're both in this together, right? So to find some solace of my own, I tried to open the journal, but as I said, it felt like the last thing I wanted to do, and I did do it. I have an entry here for the next day on a Monday. Excuse me. And my first sentence is, I've been avoiding this notebook like it is a plague. Not a plague, like it's radioactive, right? Like last thing I want to do is touch it. And then I go on and I write about it. I'm not gonna read you the entries, but I write that day, the day after, a few days after, and so on. And I keep kind of coming back to it, and I do a bit of journaling. But a funny thing happened is the journal didn't help as much as I thought it would. Maybe it was too soon for me to try to like work it out. I'm still grieving, obviously. It's been a month, as I said. Maybe it was too soon, but it wasn't helping. So the day after, and I'm sort of all over the place because it's kind of a hard thing, but when I did journal, it felt easier than I thought it would, but it didn't help. That's what I'm trying to say. And I kind of didn't know where to go. I did have a therapist at that time, and I knew I had a session coming up, but in the moment, it felt like I was a little bit lost. Now, it happened that day, the day after Brewster died, was an old friend's birthday. And we used to live in the same town, but we no longer do. And all we do now is sort of call each other on our birthdays. And I called him. And because this is something you do, and we were very close, and we are still very close. So I called him, and I didn't want to make it about me. I didn't want to call him on his birthday and say, hey, guess what? My cat died yesterday. I'm very sad. So we really just, for the first hour, we just talked about his life, his daughters, how they're doing, how his business is doing, how his domestic life is doing, what he does in his free time, and so on. We kind of really talked about everything. And then I mentioned, oh, by the way, I'm going through a bit of a struggle. We've had a tragedy. Our cat died. He was 18, and so on and so forth. And he was very supportive through all that. And we talked that day for over an hour, and we talked multiple times that week, actually, because he would call and check on me and so on. And that was very, very nice. But I realized that after talking to my friend that day, the first day after, that really helped me sort of feel a little more peace, feel like there's going to be things may become okay over time. It wasn't going to be okay then, and surely isn't okay now that even a month has passed. Grief works in a variety of ways. I'm not an expert on grief, but talking to my close friend, did more help than journaling did for me at that time. And that really stood out to me as the power of being able to talk to another person who's empathetic, who's loving, who's kind. That cannot be replaced by a journal. And in this day and age with AI chatbots and character AI and AI therapists kind of taking over the world, their end of the day, even if that bot is talking to you with voice, it is not a person, and they may not be able to tell you what a real person with real feelings for you, with real love and kindness for you, may be able to tell you. So all of this is to say, these tools we have, like journaling, and then all the other tools in the way, all the way up to AI, are probably fantastic tools to have, and I'm certainly wouldn't be talking about it if I didn't believe in it. But you cannot replace a real person, and I just want to emphasize that. I think it needs to go without saying, because I thought that would be obvious, but it is not in this day and age with sort of AI taking over everything, that it cannot replace a real person. So all I'm saying here, I guess, is like, if you are going through a time of crisis, time of joy, journal away, talk to your AI, whatever you need to do. Maybe minor crises, sure. The journal helps me a lot even when I'm going through a minor crisis. But when it's real crisis, find someone to talk to. It could be your partner, it could be a sibling, it could be a parent, it could be a neighbor, it could be an uncle, it could be a friend. Find someone to talk to. Don't underestimate the power that just talking to another person can have and you feeling better. Now, that doesn't solve grief, that doesn't solve the sadness and the hurt and the anger and all those things that come from grief, but it goes a long way in helping you cope with it. This is where I would make the case for finding a good therapist as well. If you don't have some of those options available to you, like many of us don't, unfortunately, this day and age, people are more and more isolated, and friendship is frankly rare. I encourage you to go find a therapist to talk to as well. That is not a bad thing at all. It is, in fact, a very important thing. Therapists are trained to help you through crisis, to help you find meaning, find coping skills, and they can't take your pain away, but they can find you the best path through it. So that's all this is about, is that journaling is not the be-all, end-all, just like many tools may claim to be. And there are times when you cannot replace a real person's words, their comfort, their conversation, real-time conversation with them. And that is all the message. If you need to take anything away from this video, that's all I would say. I hope you're not going through a tough time, but if you are, good luck with it. I hope you find someone to talk to. Thank you.